Okay, good morning, friends. Good morning, students. And now we will start our session. Okay, last class we have seen some problems on bistable multivibrator, that is self-biased bistable multivibrator. Today we will see the fixed bias bistable multivibrator. Okay, Maxo, if it possible, I will close all the theory part today itself. Yeah, and it may take 3 or 4 classes for again solving the problems of a fixed bias bistable multivibrator. Okay? Self-bias multivibrator, so that we can close this chapter. Yeah, after completion of this chapter, I will give the assignment questions and submit those assignment questions to me while you are coming to college for writing the mid exams. Okay, most probably it will be our mid exams maybe on 26 after Dasra. Okay, it will be after Dasra. It may be from 26th or it may be first week of your November. Therefore, at that time you have to submit your hard copy. Okay, hard copy of your assignment. Okay. I will give the assignment questions common for all the students, and I will give the 5 questions which are related to the first 3 chapters. Okay, I won't give the general assignment. I will give the assignment questions related to your first 3 chapters. Okay. Therefore, you submit the hard copy. Okay, I will submit the hard copy while you are coming to the college for writing your mid exams. Okay, fine. Up to now, we have seen the bistable multivibrator. For this bistable multivibrator, having a two stable states. Okay, having the two stable states, one transistor will be at on state, another transistor will be off state. Okay. Before solving the problems, we have seen one drawback in the circuit. That is when you connected a load. Okay, when you connected a load to this bistable multivibrator, because in circuit it will drive some load. Okay, it may give the triggering pulse for a relay, or it may give some signal for an LED lights. Okay, yeah, whatever may be those equipments, it is going to act as a load for this circuit. Okay, when you connect a load, okay, this is our bistable multivibrator. If you connect a load to this one, okay, what drawback you have noticed means the voltage at this point has been reduced. Okay, nothing but its voltage regulation. Okay, when you connect a load on the generator, automatically the voltage on the generator gets dropped. Okay, the voltage gets dropped. Okay, therefore we will use different techniques for improving the voltage regulation. Similar fashion, here also when you connect a load to a bistable multivibrator, because it is generating a signal and it is giving to the load, when you connect a load, automatically the voltage at the node point, okay, voltage at the node point is going to be fall. Okay, at this point it is going to be fall, which is driving the a input for your on transistor. Okay, from this voltage, okay, the voltage at this node is going to drive the voltage input to this transistor, on transistor. Therefore, this voltage drop is going to affect this on transistor. Okay, this voltage drop is going to affecting this on transistor. To overcome this drawback, we have connected a diodes. Okay, we have connected a diodes. Okay, this diodes is going to be clamping this voltage at a fixed level. It is maintaining a constant voltage at that node. Okay, when the voltage becomes less than, okay, or equal to the anode side. Okay, therefore here that we are maintaining some voltage V, and this voltage is going to be fixed at this node. Okay, this diode gets forward biased, and this is going to be fixing at that node. Okay, the whole voltage at this point is going to be fixed at V volts. Okay, irrespective of the load. Okay, we are going to call this diode as a collector catching diode. Okay, which we have seen in previous classes. In previous classes, we have seen this complete detailed explanation regarding this collector catching diode. Okay, and today's class, we are going to facing one more problem regarding this bistable multivibrator, that is response. Okay, response. That means what in bistable multivibrator happening means, suppose this transistor, it may be in on state and it may be in off state. Okay, suppose if we assume like that. Okay, if we assume one transistor is at on state and another transistor is at off state, then when you give the triggering pulse, okay, when you give the triggering pulse, to the on transistor or off transistor. Anywhere, if you give the, if here you have to give the negative triggering pulse, because it is on, we have to make it off. We are going to applying a negative triggering pulse. Okay, when you apply a triggering pulse, what it has to do, the voltage at this junction, okay, the voltage at this node has to be increased, okay, and this voltage has to be drive the input to the off transistor base. Okay, after that it will be becomes on. After some time it will becomes to the on. That means it will take some time to develop the voltage at this node, and this voltage has to drive the current to this one, and this transistor generally it is in off stage. Therefore, in order to make it on, it takes some time. That may be a turn on time. Already we have seen at switching characteristics. Okay, turn on time is nothing but the sum of delay time plus rise time. Okay, it is nothing but a turn on time is nothing but a delay time plus. Similarly here also, it is an on state, it has to move to the off state. Okay, this transistor, by applying a negative triggering pulse, it has to move to the off state. For moving into off state, it will take some time. That may be a turn off time, which is nothing but a storage time plus fall time. Storage time plus fall time. After this time period, after this, it may be a microseconds or nanoseconds. After this time period, this transistor will move to the off state. That means from the saturation region, that means from somewhere here, the transistor operating somewhere here, from that point, the transistor moves to the cutoff region. Okay, for moving to this point, okay, for moving to this point, it may take some time, okay, which may call it as a turn off time. Okay, after that time, yeah, after this transistor is gets off, the voltage gets built up here, and this voltage drives the current, and this current is going to be make this transistor on. For complete this process, okay, for completing this process, afterwards we are going to get a stable state. That means this transistor will goes to the off state, this transistor will move to the on state. Okay, that means after some time, that means immediately when you give the triggering pulse, immediately there is no state changing. Okay, it will take some microseconds or nanoseconds to get a stable state. Okay, in this time period, it is going to making all this transient response. Okay, therefore, in order to reduce this time period, okay, that means actually what happening when you apply a triggering pulse, at the same instant we are not getting a stable states. Okay, at the same instant we are not getting the stable states. Okay, the transistor is moving into quasi stable state, and afterwards you are going to get a stable state. Okay, now our target is we have to reduce this time period. Okay, for reducing this time period, we are going to placing a capacitance in parallel with this one, in parallel with a resistor. Okay, in parallel with a resistor. If you place a capacitor in parallel with the resistor, okay, we will see what happens. Okay, why we are placing this capacitor, or we will explain it. Okay, if you place a capacitor, these are nothing but we are going to call as the DC coupler. Okay, this resistance we are going to call as a, already we have discussed in previous class. Okay, this resistance we are going to call as a DC coupler. If we have a capacitor here, we are going to call it as an AC coupler. Okay, for a monostable, by monostable, we may have one resistor and one capacitor. That means we may have the one DC coupler and one AC coupler. Therefore, this may create your stable state, and it may create your quasi-stable states. Okay, for stable, both are having the capacitors on. That means at this place, okay, simply if we understand the bistable multivariate better, we can redraw the monostable or stable multivariate better. Simply by little changes, by making a little changes, we are going to get those circuits. Okay, therefore your next chapter, it will be very simple. If you understand the bistable, the next chapter monostable and stable will be very simple. Okay, only there will be a change. Instead of this resistance, we are going to placing the capacitors. Okay, if both are the capacitors, then it is a stable, and this will having only quasi stable states. That means output will be continuously changing. Okay, there is no stable state. Okay, for this one, okay, that means for monostable, it will be maintained at one state stably. Okay, it is going to maintain constant at one stable. When you apply a triggering pulse, it will change its state. Okay, it will change its states, and it will maintain for a few minutes, a few seconds. Again, it moves to the stable state. Okay, automatically. Here we won't require any triggering pulse. Okay, in quasi-stable state, we won't require any triggering pulse. Okay, therefore, in quasi-stable state, it will be maintained for a few minutes. Okay, a few seconds. Okay, depending upon our circuit configuration. Okay, depending upon the time constant of your capacitor, where we are going to maintaining the quasi-stable state. Okay, we will see it detailing in monostable. Okay, therefore we won't require any triggering pulse at this instant. Okay, at this instant we have to apply a triggering pulse. Okay. Here I want to recalling you that this resistor we are going to call as a DC coupler. Okay, that means simply by placing a capacitor in parallel with your DC coupler. Okay, instead of saying the resistor, I am saying that DC coupler. Okay, if you place a capacitor in parallel with your DC coupler, then automatically it will make your circuit operation speed. Okay, that's why this capacitance we are going to call as a speed up capacitors. Okay, we are going to discussing our today's topic is speed up capacitors. Okay, speed up capacitors are nothing but a capacitors used in a bistable multivibrator to speed up the operation. Okay, that means speed up the operation means the stable states. Okay, that means when you apply a triggering pulse, the state change has to be speed up. Okay, previous without this capacitor, it may, in order to get a stable state, it may take suppose 1 second. Okay, let us take the time to time constant maybe 1 second. That means previously, if suppose this is at off stage, this is at the off stage, this transistor is an off stage. Okay, in order to reach to a stable state, it will take 1 second. After 1 second, it will comes to the stable. That means like this, you are going to get the output waveform. Okay, and similarly, if it is in on state, after 1 second, if it may goes to the stable state, means like this, you are going to get the your output waveform. Okay, it is taking the more time to get the stable state. If we add the capacitance, then your output may be like this. Okay, it may be a short falls. Okay, therefore you may get the your output. Okay, the time taken to get the a stable state can be reduced. Okay, by simply adding the capacitor in parallel with your DC coupler. In parallel with your DC coupler, we can obtain this type of the waveform. Okay, we can obtain the this type of waveform. Otherwise, you may get this type of the waveforms. Okay, both are these pulses only. Okay, but the shape. Okay, but the shape may be a little bit. Okay, little bit. We may have the more slope here. Okay, the slope will be more because of the time constant. Okay, after this time period, it may reaches to a stable state. Okay, therefore, how we can improve the operation of your bistable multivibrator means simply by adding a capacitor, speed up capacitor. We are going to call it technically speed up capacitor. By simply adding the speed up capacitor in parallel with the DC coupler. In parallel with DC coupler, we can improve the operation. Okay, now we will see that why we are getting more time. Okay, how this capacitor is reducing this time period. Okay, that we will see, because in previous I have said that without placing this capacitor it will take more time to change its states. Okay, why it is going to take this state changing? Okay, more time to change the state. Okay, what happens if you place the capacitance and how this capacitor impact your operation, we will see. Okay, therefore before going to that point, you know that, I think so, you may know that the transistor. Okay, for a transistor, if it is in one junction is a reverse bias. Okay, therefore base to empty junction is a reverse bias. Initially the transistor will be, it looks like this. Okay, it may kind flow in this direction. Okay, current is flowing from the collector to base or base to collector. The current will be, this junction is in reverse bias. Okay, if this junction is in reverse bias. Okay, if the both junctions are in forward bias, okay, both junctions are in forward bias, then the current will be flow from the emitter to collector. The current is flowing in this direction. Okay, this is the transistor operation. Okay, I think so. You all of you may have knowledge on this concept. Okay, therefore this is the current flow direction when the transistor is in when the both junctions are in forward bias, or when the transistor is in on state. Okay, this is the current flow in our on state, that is from collector to emitter. Okay, when the transistor is off, the connection will be from the collector to the base. Okay, this junction is reverse bias. That means it may act as a open switch. Okay, therefore this is the off direction current flow. This is the on direction current flow. Okay, simply I am recalling that concept. And one more concept you have to recall, it is that is nothing but a attenuator. Okay, which we have seen in your first chapter. This is a simple attenuator. Okay, simple attenuator. Suppose if we apply a voltage here, suppose it may having some 1 kilo ohm, and this is also some 1 kilo ohm. If we apply some 4 volts here, okay, and here I am going to collecting the output. Okay, therefore definitely this 4 volts is going to be divide. Okay, both are equal resistance, therefore the voltage at this point will be 2 volts, therefore output voltage is 2 volts. Okay, simply it is attenuating, okay, attenuating our input signal. Okay, we have seen detailedly regarding the attenuator in our first chapter. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can, if you want detailed explanation, you can watch it in YouTube, attenuator concept. Okay, therefore simply attenuator is going to a resistive network, a simple resistive network is going to act as an attenuator circuit. Okay, okay, now this attenuator, if you connect it to an amplifier, if you connect it to an amplifier, here we are going to getting a stake capacitance. Okay, here we are going to getting a stake capacitance. That means this amplifier input, this amplifier is going to act as a going to offering a capacitive effect at the output side of your attenuator. That's we are going to consider as a stake capacitance. Okay, therefore, in order to overcome this stake capacitance, we have connected a compensating capacitor in parallel with your first resistance. Okay, depending on this capacitor, our attenuator is maybe a overcompensated or undercompensated or critically compensated. We have seen the output waveforms also. Suppose if input voltage is 4 volts, this is our input waveform 4 volts, then output you have to get a 2 volts. Output you have to get a 2 volts. If this C value, okay, your compensating capacitance value is equal to the stake capacitance value, then the output we may get exactly at 2 volts. Okay, when these two capacitance values are equal, okay, when these two capacitance values are equal, then we may get exactly 2 volts. When this value is more, okay, the compensating capacity is more, then we are going to call it as overcompensated. In that case, it may start somewhere here and it may reaches to your 2 volts. Okay, overcompensated, you may get like this. Okay, if this value is less, it is undercompensated, it may start somewhere here and it may reaches to the 2 volts. Okay, therefore like this you may get all these waveforms we have discussed in our first chapter. Okay, simply I am recalling, because here also we are going to get the same principle. Okay, attenuated principle once again we are going to get. That's why I am simply recalling all these concepts. Okay, therefore simply a resistive network you are going to get form an attenuator circuit. For this attenuator circuit there will be a stake capacitance effect. In order to overcome this stake capacitance, we are adding a compensating capacitor. Depending on this compensating capacitors, your circuit may act as overcompensated, undercompensated, or critically compensated. Okay, all these concepts we have seen in our first chapter. Okay, if you want detailed explanation, once go through this attenuated concept. Okay, now come to our circuit. Okay, now come to our circuit. Now let us assume that there is no this capacitor, there is no compensating capacitance. Okay, if there is no compensating capacitance, then what happens you will see. Okay, let us assume that one transistor is on, another transistor is off. Okay, I may assume Q1 is in off state. Okay, Q1 is in off state and this is in on state. Okay, this is in on state. Okay, when this is in on state, nothing but this is a short circuited. Okay, on state, and if it is in off state, the collector and a base are short circuited. This is open. Okay, this circuit is open circuited. Okay, these two are connected. Okay, now if we observe, if there is no capacitor, whatever the signal present here, it has to drive to the base. Okay, if I apply a gate signal here to the base of this signal, I had apply a gate signal, a triggering pulse, it has to change the voltage. Okay, it has to change the state of this transistor. That means this one has to move to the off state. Okay, when it is moving to the off state, what happens, the voltage at this point will be gets increased. Okay, because the current flowing in this branch, because in on state the more current will be flowing, it is a short circuit path, therefore more current will be flow, there will be a more drop across this resistance, therefore voltage at this point is nothing but a VCC minus ICRC. Yeah, ICRC. Okay, when it is on, there is a more current because it is a short circuited branch. Okay, the transistor is on. Okay, therefore more current is flowing in this branch, therefore this drop, ICRC drop will be more. Okay, due to this drop is more, there will be a less amount present here. This less amount may not be sufficient to drive the base current, therefore this transistor is in off state. Okay, now we had applied an external triggering pulse, to the gate circuit. Okay, generally it is an on state, means here you may have a breakdown voltage 0.6. Okay, if I apply a minus 1 volt, if I apply a minus 1 volt or minus 2 volts, then the voltage at this node will be a minus zero point 0.6 minus 2 volts. That may be a minus 1.4. Okay, you may have the minus 1.4, which makes the reverse bias. Okay, therefore this junction may be reverse bias. That's why I had taken the a negative pulse. Okay, here you should not be apply the positive pulse, because if you apply positive 2 volts, if you apply positive 2 volts, 2 plus zero point 0.6, you may get 2.6. Okay, therefore still this junction, okay, this diode will be in forward bias only. Okay, in order to make this diode reverse bias, we have to apply the negative voltage. Okay, that's why I have taken a negative pulse here, which we have seen in last class also. Okay, in order to make it off, okay, in order to make it off, we are going to applying a negative pulse. Okay, when you apply a negative pulse here, it makes it off, as it is this transistor moving into off. Okay, see, it is in saturation mode. Now it is in saturation. Okay, therefore from the saturation, then first it may move to the active region. It may move to the active region. From the active, it has to move to the cutoff region. Then it will goes to the off state. Okay, when it moves to the active region, what happens? It is going to act as an amplifier. It is going to act as an amplifier because it is in active region. Okay, active region, the transistor is going to act as an amplifier. Okay, when it is in amplifier, it is acting as an amplifier. The whatever the base signal, that means your gate triggering pulse, this signal will be amplified and inverted and applied at the collector. Okay, therefore this, since it is an amplifier, okay, for an amplifier, if we apply a signal at base, this is your input signal, this signal will be amplified. Okay, this signal will be amplified, and that signal we are going to see at the collector. Okay, that signal we are going to occur amplified version. That means this one into beta. Okay, IB into beta. Since IC current, already you know that. Okay, IC current is nothing but a beta into IB, beta into IB. That means whatever the triggering pulse we had applied, whatever the current flowing in the base circuit, that will be amplified by beta times. Okay, that will be amplified by beta times. That will be occur at the collector. That means that current will be occurs at this point. Okay, therefore that current will be flowing in this branch. Okay, therefore this transistor is on state. Yeah, it is it will be amplified. Okay, and that signal has to be passed to the base of here. Okay, now if you observe here, this is on state and this is a resistor. Here we have a one resistance, and since it is an off, okay, it is in off state. Okay, therefore this is your branch. Okay, here we may have the another resistance. Okay, if we redraw this one, okay, this is your base, that means your input. Okay, this is the base of your first transistor. Here we may have the R2 resistance, and here we are going to having the R1 resistance, and here we are going to applying our input. Okay, this is our input voltage. Okay, VCE2. Okay, here we are going to having the input voltage. Okay, like this. Okay, this is your output. Okay, output is nothing but your transistor base. Here we are going to collecting our output. Okay, this is output. Okay, this is your input. Okay, that means this is nothing but a circuit. Okay, an attenuated circuit is forming here. Okay, having the two resistance R1 and R2, as we seen in previously. Attenuator is nothing but a simple resistive network. Okay, a simple resistive network. Okay, which makes the attenuate your output signal. Therefore, these two resistance R1 and R2 with combination will form an attenuated circuit at the input of the second transistor. Okay, at the input for this attenuator, it is the output. Okay, for if we are talking in point of attenuator, this is an attenuator circuit. Okay, this is attenuator circuit. For this attenuator circuit, this is the input. Okay, this input has to be applied at the output. Okay, this is your output. Okay, therefore this input, whatever the signal you are going to occurring at this node, this will be attenuated by this resistance. Okay, suppose if both resistance are equal, if I apply a 10 volts, if I get a 10 volts here, if both resistance are equal, then here I may get the 5 volts only. Okay, this is the attenuator, and this is also in cutoff zone. When you are applying the base signal, this has to move to the amplifier. Okay, from the cutoff, it has to move to the active region. From the active region, it has to move to the saturation region. Therefore, when it is in active region, it is going to act as an amplifier. That means at this junction, okay, at this junction, we may get a junction capacitance. That means here also we may, this diode at the junction barrier, it may offer the some junction capacitance. Okay, I think so. You know, you have studied in the EDC concept. Okay, diode junction capacitance. Okay, junction barrier. Okay, this side it may have a n charge. That means it may, this side you may have a positive charge, and this is a p type, and this, if it is a n type, here you may have the n charge. This may act as then your capacitor. Capacitor having a two plates separated by some distance, having the opposite charges. Therefore, here we are getting a some stay capacitance. Okay, stay capacitance means physically it won't present. Physically it won't be present there, but the capacitance effect will be there. Okay, physically there won't be any capacitance there, but there is a capacitive effect. Okay, there will be a capacitive effect. Okay, capacitive effect will be present there. In that cases, we are going to call it stay capacitance. Okay, therefore definitely it is an amplifier, and here we having a some stay capacitance. Okay, therefore it may looks like your alternator circuit. Okay, in order to get the output, we are going, in order to make this transistor on, okay, if I want to get 7 volts, okay, that means the voltage at this node has to be rises to 14 volts. Okay, when this voltage across this branch rises to 14 volts, then I used to get the 7 volts here. It may take some time because of this attenuator circuit. Okay, in order to overcome this attenuator concept, okay, in order to overcome this attenuator, what we are doing, we are connecting a compensating capacitor here. Okay, similar fashion, here also we are going to connecting a speed up capacitor. Okay, simply the name has changed. Okay, there in attenuator we may call it as a compensating capacitor. Okay, here also indirectly we are having an attenuator circuit, but it is a bistable multivibrator. Therefore, these are the elements in bistable multivibrator. This is not an attenuator circuit, but here we are having attenuator principle. Okay, therefore it is attenuating the signal. It is attenuating the signal present at the output of the or input to the second transistor. Input to the second transistor. To overcome that one, we are connecting a capacitance. We are going to connecting a capacitance. Depending on this capacitance value, the response will be more. Okay, if it is a, if we use the critically damper, then the exact half time. Okay, that means the output voltage has to be reached to 14 volts, then the voltage will be 7 here. Okay, therefore if this capacitance value is equal to the stay capacitance present here. Okay, if both are equal, then it may take the half of the time. Okay, that means to rise to 14 volts, it may take some 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, here the voltage will be 7 volts. Then the transistor will comes to on state. If you make this capacitance value more, then it is a overcompensated. The overcompensated output will be starts from somewhere. Yeah, and slowly it may reaches to the 5 volts. Okay, that means at the time of starting you may get the 7 volts. Okay, therefore quickly this transistor, once this transistor is on, okay, we won't require the remaining aspects. Okay, at this point, okay, quickly, because if you choose this value as more, okay, that is, it is a overcompensated. For overcompensated, you may get a graph like this. Okay, that means the voltage, okay, initially you may get the 7 volts. Okay, this is your 5 volts. Therefore, initially the output will be 7 volts. Okay, therefore your transistor comes to the on state. Your transistor will be comes. If it is, if you choose this value as less, okay, then it may take a slow. Okay, it may start from here and slowly it may goes to the your required value. Okay, therefore if you choose this C value for our requirement, this C value should be very large. In order to respond your bistable multivibrator, you have to choose the C value, that is speed up capacitance value is large. Okay, if we choose the speed up capacitance very large, then our circuit is a overcompensated attenuator circuit, and we are going to get the quickly the output voltage. Okay, output of this attenuator, that may be input to this transistor. Okay, the input to this Q1 transistor will be sufficiently. Okay, quickly we are going to applying the voltage sufficiently to make this transistor on. Okay, I think so you have to understand. Okay, a simple concept is simply here we are going to having an attenuator circuit. This is an attenuator circuit which is uncompensated. Here we may have a stay capacitance also, because this transistor is offering some capacitive effect. Due to that one, we may have this stay capacitance also. This resistor and this one. Here we are going to having the, this is our input. Okay, this is our input and this is our output. Output we are going to connecting to the some amplified circuit. This is the amplified circuit. Okay, your transistor is a amplifier. Okay, therefore this attenuator is going to be, may take some more time to apply this voltage here. Okay, therefore in order to come, due to presence of this stay capacitance, in order to overcome this stay capacitance, we are going to adding one more capacitance. Okay, In attenuated circuit means we are going to call it as a compensating capacitor. Now we are going to call it as a speed up capacitor. Okay, simply a speed up capacitor we are going to adding. It will nullify the state capacitance. And generally the speed up capacitance value should be large. Okay, if we choose this value as large, then quickly, okay, quickly it makes to the transistor will be on. Quickly it will be comes to the on state. That means stable state. Quickly that means previously it is at 1. Okay, quickly it goes to the 0. Quickly it changes its state. Okay, if we choose this speed up capacitance value very large. Okay, if we choose this one very large, we may get quick response. Otherwise, it may take some slow response. Like this, you are going to get. Okay, without capacitor like this you are going to get. Depending on the capacitance value, the slope will going to be reduced. Okay, depending on the capacitance value, the slope gets reduced. Like this you are going to get the output waveforms. Okay, I think so you have understand the why we are using the speed up capacitance, and why we are getting the slow response, and what is the use of the speed up capacitance. Okay, now we have a still more drawback. Okay, still more drawback, that is by using this capacitance one. Okay, previously we have discussed that this capacitance value should be very large. Okay, if this capacitance value is very large, then it may change its state very quickly. That we have discussed. Okay, but when you choose this value as very large, okay, the previously suppose this may be in on state, therefore it goes to the 0. Okay, and if it is 0 state, quickly it may goes to the on state. But we won't say that it is in stable state. Okay, we won't say that it is stable state unless the charge in the capacitor has to be transferred. Okay, the charge in this capacitor has to be transferred. Then only the circuit gets stable. Okay, if the charge because okay, if you see these two capacitors, it may be a C1 and C1 dash. Okay, if we see these two charges, the charge in these capacitors may not be equal, because if we observe the voltage at this voltage across this capacitor, the voltage suppose this may be an off transistor. Okay, if it is an off transistor, here the voltage will be, if I take it ideal, okay, ideal case, there is no current flowing in this case. Therefore, the drop across this resistance will be 0. Therefore, the voltage at this point will be VCC. Okay, voltage at this point will be VCC. Okay, when this point is VCC, okay, voltage at this point is VCC. Similarly, the voltage at this point, that is nothing but the voltage this point is nothing but a voltage at this point. Okay, at this point is nothing but a VBE sat. Okay, this is on transistor. Therefore, here at this node we may have the voltages VBE sat. VBE sat, if I take ideally, it may be a 0. Practically means it may be a 0.6. Okay, therefore, ideally if I consider, it may be a 0 volts. Therefore, the voltage across this capacitor is nothing but a VCC. Okay, the voltage across across the capacitor connected to the off transistor. This is off transistor. Okay, therefore anyone can be, one is on and one is off. Therefore, the voltage across the capacitor connected to the off transistor is nothing but a VCC in ideal case. Okay, if we come to this side, okay, since this transistor is on, the transistor is on here. Okay, therefore this transistor on means here the voltage will be more amount of current is flowing, therefore more drop in this resistor. Therefore, generally the voltage at this point is VCE sat. Okay, this is since it is on VCE sat. Okay, generally this voltage will be a 0.2, practically 0.2 or 0.3. Okay, ideal case means we can consider it as 0. Okay, we can consider this value as 0. Okay, practically it may be a 0.2 or 0.3, small value. Okay, saturation voltage VCE sat. Okay, therefore ideally this node will be at 0 potential. This node will be at 0 potential, and this node is connected here. Okay, this node is connected here, and this is nothing but a VBE of your first transistor. This is in off state. Okay, this is in off state. Therefore, here you may have a negative voltage, because this is a off transistor. The VBE should be a negative voltage. Okay, therefore potential, and it will be a minimum voltage. Okay, it may be a -2 or -1 volt. It is sufficient to make this transistor off. Okay, it may be a -2 volts or -1 volt, because if it is greater than 0.6, it is going to be on. Okay, this transistor will be on. Therefore, it will be a -2 volts. Therefore, the voltage will be across this one will be is 0 minus of minus 2, that means it may be at 2 volts. Okay, it may be at 2 volts. Generally VCC will be a 5 volts or 10 volts. Okay, therefore the voltage across C1, that means capacitor connected to the off transistor, will be having more charge. Okay, and capacitor connected to the on transistor will be having less charge. Okay, I think so you have understand the point. This for a off transistor, the capacitor will having the more charge, this will be having the more charge, and this will be having the less charge. When you apply a triggering pulse, it is moving to the off state, it is moving to the off state, means the charge in this capacitor has to be increased, the charge in this capacitor has to be increased, and charge in this capacitor has to be decreased. Okay, for taking this charge, okay, for taking this interchange of the charge, okay, or we may call it as a recharging. Okay, we may call it as a recharging. This charger has to be recharged. Okay, this capacitor has to be recharged, and this it has to be discharged. Okay, it has to be discharged. Okay, for this process it may take some time. Okay, after completion of this interchanging of charge, then we can say that this circuit is under stable state. Okay, that means first it has to change its state. That means off state has to be changed to be on state has to be changed to be off. Okay, after changing its state, it has to change its charge also. The charge stored in the capacitor has been also should be changed. Okay, when it is changing its state, then we can say that our circuit is in stable state. Okay, therefore we are reducing this time. Okay, to change its state, we are reducing by this capacitance. But if we take this capacitance value as large, okay, if we choosing this value as large, therefore because the large capacitor, it may charge the more charge. Okay, therefore to discharge that one, it may take more time. Okay, therefore if we take the large capacitance values here, it may create one more drawback. Okay, it may create one more drawback. It may reduce the time also. It may reduce the time also. Okay, therefore it is also one of the drawback. Therefore we should not to choose this capacitance value also has a large value. Okay, it should be a moderate value, this capacitance value, because in previous case we have we have discussed that if we choose this value to large, has this value is very large, the time taken to change its states is going to be reduced. Okay, but it is creating another time delay. Okay, another time delay, that we are going to call as an restoring time. Okay, we will see the next slide, very important definitions. We may have the three definitions. Yeah, this is nothing but a, first one is the transient time. Transient time is nothing but a, you may get in 2 mux bits. Okay, this one you may get in 2 mux bits. Okay, it is the defined as the interval during the conduction transfer from one transistor to another transistor. What we have seen, okay, this transient time is improved, or this transient time is reduced. Okay, by adding the capacitance, by adding the speed up capacitor, which we have seen in previous slide. Okay, that means this transistor, suppose this transistor is on state, it has to move to the off state. Okay, that it is definitely interval during which the conduction transfer. Okay, conduction transfer, that means from the off transistor, the conduction has to be transferred to the another, and this one has to be transferred to this one. Okay, therefore for taking this one, it may take some time. Okay, for taking this one, it may take some time. Okay, this time we are going to call it an transient time. This time we are going to call it an transient time. Okay, I have mentioned that point also. Transient time is reduced, including a small capacitor in shunt with coupling resistance R1. Okay, therefore how we can reduce this transient time? Simply by adding a capacitor. That capacitance we are going to call it as a speed up capacitor. Simply by adding a speed up capacitance in shunt with a coupling relation, DC coupling. You can call it as a, more specifically we can call it as a DC coupling. Okay, by adding the capacitance in parallel with a DC coupler. Okay, so that this can be this transient time can be reduced. Okay, another one is settling time. It is the time required to recharge. Okay, not restoring time. Previously I have said that restoring, it is a settling time. Okay, settling time is nothing but a time required for this capacitor to recharge. Okay, where to charge its charge. Okay, to recharging the capacitor, it may take some time. That means the two capacitors won't have the same charge. Okay, therefore when the transistor has changed its states, the capacitor charge also has to be changed. Okay, therefore for changing this charge it may take some time. That time we are going to call as an settling time. After the settling time we are going to get the stable states. Okay, that means sum of the transient time plus settling time. Okay, after these two times we are going to get the stable states. Okay, that is transient time plus settling time. Okay, settling time. After this time interval we are going to get the stable states. Okay, that point you have to observe. Okay, and next one is the resolving time. Resolving time is nothing but it is the time interval between two triggering pulses. Okay, suppose if I apply a triggering pulse, wait a minute, I will go to the previous slide. Yeah. If I apply the a triggering pulse at this instant, okay, at t equal to 0 instant, I had applied the a triggering pulse. Okay. Therefore, suppose the transient time of the circuit may be 1 second, and the settling time may be another 1 more second. That means after 2 seconds, I am going to get a stable state. Okay, I am going to get a stable state. This transition time can be reduced by adding the capacitor. If you want to add the capacitor, it may be a 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Okay. Therefore, by adding this capacitor, suppose if you want to add the capacitor, the transition time may be some 6 seconds. That means after 6 seconds, we are going to get a stable state. But here there is no settling time, because settling time will be 0. There is no capacitance. We have not added any capacitance here. Okay, therefore only the transition time. Okay, we have to, when you apply the triggering pulse after certain time. Okay, after certain time we may get a stable state. Okay, that may be around, it may be that will be 6 seconds. If we add a capacitor, this will be reduced to 1 second. But due to the presence of this capacitance, we are getting a settling time. Okay, by adding these two also we may have a 2 seconds only. Therefore, the overall circuit operation has been improved. Okay, overall circuit operation. In this way you have to think. Okay, without adding this capacitor we won't have the settling time, but the circuit transient time will be very more. Okay, by adding this capacitor, circuit transient time is reduced. Okay, and it may reduce another delay which may be called as the settling time. By combining these two delay also, this total delay of this circuit, okay, it should be less than the transient time. Okay, therefore after 2 seconds, that means we may get a stable state. Okay, that means presently it is at 1, and after 2 seconds it may goes to the 0. Okay, suppose if I apply the triggering pulse before 2 seconds, that means at 1.5 seconds I have applied again triggering pulse. Okay, that means we may at this position we have not reached to a stable state. Okay, we have not reached a stable state. Therefore, we had applied triggering pulse. It may create some disturbance in our output waveform. Okay, it may create some disturbance at the output waveform. Okay, therefore we should not apply the triggering pulse like this. Okay, we have to apply the triggering pulse after certain time. That time is nothing but a TT, transient time plus settling time. After this time interval, we are going to get a stable state, and we will maintain the stable state for some time. Then if we apply triggering pulse, again they will be state changing. Okay, therefore we should maintain certain time difference between the two triggering pulses. Okay, between two triggering pulses we have to maintain some time difference. Okay, definitely we have to maintain some time difference. That time difference we are going to call it as an restoring time. Okay, restoring time is nothing but defined as time instance between two successive triggering pulses. Okay, this is the here I have write a small time allowable interval between two consecutive triggerings. Okay, that means first triggering we had applied, immediately we should not apply the second triggering. We should maintain some time delay. After that time delay only we have to apply the triggering pulse. After that time period only we have to apply the triggering pulse. Okay, that one we are going to call as in that time period we are going to call as a restoring time. Therefore we have a restoring time, settling time, and transient time. Transient time can be reduced by adding a capacitance. Okay, to reduce the settling time, the size of the capacitor, that's why we have mentioned here, here are not said that we had to use the small capacitance. Here I had mentioned, okay, small capacitance. Okay, we are going to use the small capacitance. Okay, but this capacitance value should not be such that our alternative circuit is undercompensated. Okay, because if it is undercompensated, it may take more time. It may, because the output waveform will be starts here, and it may take more time to reach our required level. Okay, definitely this capacitance value should be a large, but it should not be much large. Okay, if it is large also, we may get another time delay, that is settling time. Okay, this settling time can be improved by choosing the small capacitance value. Okay, like that we have to plan. Okay, trial and error. Okay, we have to go for trial and error simply by keeping 1 microfarads. Okay, how much time we taken? By taking 2 microfarads, how much time it has taken? Okay, like that if we are using this multivibrator practically, we have to use the different combination of capacitance. Okay, and we have to check that what is the time interval for getting a stable state. Okay, like that you have to see that. Okay, therefore this settling time can be reduced by choosing the small capacitance values. Okay, and resolving time. Okay, this is nothing but a time interval between two triggering pulses. Okay, after the two intervals, we have to apply the triggering pulses. Okay, now there is a small derivation. Okay, there is a small derivation in order to calculate the frequency. Okay, frequency of your circuit. Okay, in order to calculate the frequency, because here we are going to getting the this one. Okay, capacitance, definitely there is a frequency. Therefore, that means this frequency we may call it as a time instance between two triggering pulses. Okay, resolving time. Okay, therefore it is nothing but a after this time or frequency of your triggering pulse. Okay, frequency, or we may call it as a time period also. Okay, reciprocal, both are reciprocal. That means what is the frequency of your triggering pulse? Okay, there is a small derivation. Okay, this is nothing but your time period. You can take it as a time period, or you can take it as a frequency, reciprocal of your time period. Okay, where there is a small derivation. In order to get this frequency, we are going to calculating the time constants. Okay, we are going to calculating the, here we are going to having a two capacitance. Okay, because the triggering pulse depends upon the TT, that is transient time plus settling time. Settling time is nothing but a charging and discharging of your capacitor. Therefore, the charging and discharging of this capacitance will depend upon the time constant only. Okay. Therefore, if the time constant is very large, you suppose for this capacitor to charge, okay, it may take 10 seconds. Okay, it may take some. I am saying example. Okay, it may take 10 seconds, and it may take some 5 seconds. Okay, for this capacitors, here the time constant. Okay, depending upon R and C. Okay, this is where it depends upon the R and C of your circuit. It may take 5 seconds. Therefore, the at t equal to 0 seconds, I had applied the first pulse. Okay, the second pulse. Okay, in order to apply the second pulse, we have to get the some. It may be some delay plus this one. Okay, for TS we having two. That is 10 seconds and 5 seconds. Okay, that what it indicates, we have to choose the largest value. Okay, why? Because within 5 seconds it is going to be charged. Within 5 seconds, this capacitor is going to be charged. Okay, but this capacitor will take 10 seconds to charge. Okay, therefore if you wait for 10 seconds, okay, this capacitor will be charged, or this capacitor will be charged. Therefore at t equal 0 seconds, if you apply the first triggering pulse, after 10 seconds, you have to apply the second pulse. You have to apply the second triggering pulse, because after 10 seconds this will be charged. Okay, this will be also charged, or your triggering pulse maybe you may apply at 12 seconds or 13 seconds. Okay, or at 15 seconds. It should be greater than 10. Okay, because for these 10 seconds we are going to adding some TT. Okay, the transient time also. Therefore, there should be a certain time instance between these triggering pulses. Okay, that means there is a certain frequency. Okay, the frequency of our output signal. Okay, it will depends upon the time constant of your circuit. Time constant of your circuit. Therefore, here I have drawn the. If you observe this slide, I have drawn the two circuits. Okay, in order to calculate time constant, we know the time constant is nothing but R into C. R simply take it as an R equivalent into C. Suppose if we choose the Q1 is off. Okay, if I choose the Q1 is off and Q2 is on. Okay, if you see the C1, okay, C1 how it is connected at this node. It is connected at this node, and this node is connected to the base. Since it is an off transistor, it is connected to the base here. Okay, Therefore, here it is connected to the R1. In order to find out the equivalent resistance, all the voltage sources are short circuited. Okay, Thevenin's equivalent voltage. There you in networks you have seen. Okay, all the voltage sources will be mixed to zero. Therefore, this node is connected to the R2. Therefore, this is your capacitor which is connected to your R2 of your off transistor. Okay, Q1 is off. Okay, for this one we are connected to R2. Okay, therefore this R2 and here R1. Okay, and this node, if you observe this node, since this transistor is on, here you are going to having a short circuit. Okay, here we are going to having a short circuit, and for a short circuit parallel we have a resistance. Okay, therefore this resistance value also zero, because if we have a resistance and if we make a short circuit like this, okay, this resistance value is zero. Okay, there is no concept because total current will flows in this direction. Therefore, this is a short circuit branch. Therefore, the current will be flowing in this direction only. Okay. Therefore, since it is an on, we can assume a minimum resistance. Okay, a small resistance which I may consider it as an R naught. Okay, this is a on resistance of your transistor. Okay, on resistance of your transistor, and this value will be very minimum, and we can neglect by calculating the time. For equivalent circuit I had drawn here, but while calculating your time constant I will neglect this one. Okay, I won't consider this time constant. Okay, therefore if you neglect this one, this R1 and R2 both are in parallel. Okay, both are in parallel. Therefore, equivalent time constant tau, we can consider it as a tau. Tau equal to R1 into R2 parallel combination. R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. R2 into your capacitance C1, C1. This is the time constant required for this capacitor to charge. Okay, this capacitor to be charged if you are having this type of positions, that is Q1 is off and Q2 is on. Okay, now we will consider this circuit. Okay, if you consider second one. Okay, therefore this capacitor, keep remember, this is nothing but a parallel combination of these two into C1. Okay. Now if you go for the second transistor, it is connected here, and this is a short circuit. Therefore here you may have a minimum resistance. Okay, you may have a minimum resistance that I have taken as an RC. Okay, RC or R0. Okay, this portion, that's why I have taken it as R0, and this is for this side, we may take it as a here. Okay, not here, this side. Okay, this is your Ri. Okay, input resistance. Okay, this is your input resistance which is in parallel with your R2. Okay, this is a short circuit. Therefore, here if we have a small resistance, okay, in parallel with this one, and it is connected to the your R1 branch, and the second branch it is connected. This is an off state. Therefore, here you may have the open circuit resistance. Okay, open impedance. Okay, you may have an open circuited impedance here. Since this is a off, okay, we may have a high impedance here. Therefore, RC value is very large. RC value will be very large because it is an open circuited. Okay, therefore these two are parallel. High resistance and small resistance are in parallel. You may have this small resistance. We can neglect this branch. Okay, we can neglect this branch. Okay, therefore these two are in parallel. Okay, high resistance and small resistance are parallel. Okay, RC is open circuit resistance. Therefore, this will be also very large, and a small resistance is parallel. Okay, if we have a combination of high and small, you may have only small resistance. Okay, high resistance will be neglected. You can take it. Okay, suppose 10 kilo ohms parallel with 100 kilo ohms. Okay, 10 kilo ohms parallel with 100 kilo ohms. Okay, you can calculate. Okay, you may get near value around 100 kilo ohms. Okay, okay, once you calculate, you may get near to a large value. I think so, large value or small value you may get it. Okay, here the capacitance will be simply, you may have the time constant will be only okay, R dash. Okay, R1 into C1 dash. Okay, R1 into C1 dash. Simply RC plus R1 into C dash, where R1 is very small. Therefore, if you neglect it, you may get RC into C1 dash. Okay, therefore generally this time constant will be very large. Okay, this is parallel combination of R1 R2. Therefore this time constant will be very large. Therefore your time overall circuit time constant will be this one. Therefore frequency will be nothing but a 1 by time constant. Okay, the frequency will be 1 by time constant, And generally for this time constant we have to add the tt. Therefore you may consider this frequency as 1 by 2 tau. Okay, the reciprocal of the time period, reciprocal of the time period. Therefore you may get simply r1 plus r2, r1 plus r2 divided by 2 into r1 r2 into c or c1. This is the frequency of your triggering pulse. Okay, simple formula. You may remember this formula. Okay, you may get this formula while they may ask for calculating this capacitance value in problems. Okay, in problems they may ask, they may give the in designing aspects. Okay, in designing aspects they may ask for calculating the this capacitance. They will give the frequency in our question. Okay, therefore there you may use this formula. Okay, r1 plus r2 divided by 2 r1 r2 c. Okay, you have to remember this concept. Okay, this is regarding your speed up capacitance. Okay, this is regarding your speed up capacitance. Tomorrow class we will see the self bias and triggering circuits. Okay, if you see these two concepts, that is self bias and yeah, self bias. And if you see the triggering circuit, you have a two, unsymmetrical triggering and symmetrical triggering. And along with the, we may have a symmetric triggering. We may have a collector bias. Okay, collector empty coupled multi-vibrator. You may have a collector empty coupled Schmitt trigger. Okay, nothing but a Schmitt trigger. That means totally we have the four concepts. Okay, two triggering circuits, and another one is the self bias. Another circuit is Schmitt trigger. Okay, totally four concepts. If we complete